In my creating movement that I consider to be my urban contemporary style, which is a mixture of what I call the street and the studio, the streets that I came from growing up in the inner city of New York, and the studios that I grew up training in. There was something about the fusion of that really made dance come alive for me, and a lot of that came alive through my time training at the Alvin Ailey American Dance Center, but also with going out and dancing late into the night, early into the morning, with those individuals that I would be training alongside of, and it was in that space of the club atmosphere that the technique and the structure of what we were being taught found a fluidity and a freedom that became my form of expression that is now urban contemporary. Doom doom ba doom ba doom dida ba doom ba doom doom ba doom ba doom 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 ba doom doom ba doom ba doom 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 ba doom dida ba doom ba doom doom. In this seated duet with Linda and Glenn, which first began as an idea that I had, in just sort of wanting to, what would it be like if a sculpture came alive? Yeah, what would it be like if you were looking at a sculpture and it came alive and it was able to move? And so, the idea of that, the idea of sort of being on view, the idea of the thing that's being so like sort of observed, looked at, stared at, sort of coming to life. What would it be like to see the inner life of that? Um, Work of art, piece of art, and I consider both Linda and Glenn to be magnificent blessings of works of art. In their in the way they carry themselves as professionals, and also the way they care for each other as partners. As a married couple, there was something that I really felt was really outstanding about the fact that there's a sense of really great companionship between them, and competition. I feel, they're pushing each other at the same time as they're partnering each other along, and that's a very special trait to have. And it can make the process of one achieving the success and going as deep and as far into the work as the two of them have each done, it can make it feel a little less lonely. And so this opening part, which I call the seated duet, was about bringing together those techniques, that Horton Graham ballet technique, and adding and infusing in my urban contemporary style with, a sense or a reference to voguing with my Vogabra arm movements, but also at the same time really looking at the multiple uses and manipulation of the torso and the back and the shoulders, and what the hips could do, and how the legs there could be a sense of isolation and counterbalance and weight sharing that I really thought could be expressed, or was the intent and attempt of mine to achieve in making, or cultivating this first installment of the seated duet for Matched on and with Linda and Glenn. Linda and Glenn, I remember when they came, each came into the company. I remember the day Linda auditioned. I remember Glenn taking class every now and then when he had a break from Juilliard, which is like a rarity. But also, knowing the Ballet Hispanico company, I knew of Linda, when she was there. And so to have watched for 20 plus years these two individuals come into an institution, become a part of it, help grow it, and really be the face of it, be the two of the most senior company members, is something to me that was an honor, a humbling honor to have a chance to do, and something I really wanted to make special for them. And I also wanted to infuse and bring a very very well thought out understanding of myself and my artistry, and sort of present that as a challenge. And I think that challenge came in. How it is that I express myself as an artist in a very sort of technical and trained way, but also how it also lends itself and leads me into the freeness of my expression, in who I understand myself to be as a burgeoning artist. Trying to, not aiming to, working towards creating a movement style and possibly hopefully technique and codified technique that really does say something. The way I found my freedom in doing that was not in counting. It was in creating what I call my choreographic rhythm. I have this, what I call it, rhythm theory premise, and I really do believe that we are made in rhythm, coming together of two bodies. We are known to be alive and living and growing by rhythm, the beating of the heartbeat. We come into this world through congealing, contracting rhythms, and we're born into a world of a myriad of rhythms. And so I make up the rhythms, and it's from that rhythmic palette, that those vocal polyphonic formulas that I make when I hear anything from classical to contemporary to jazz. When I hear that music, a rhythm comes to me, and it is from that rhythm that I conceive of and begin to create movement and carve out shapes that really reflect back to what that rhythm says or speaks to me inside is. Doom ba da ba boom doom doom ba doom ba da doom doom ba doom ba doom 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 ba doom ba doom doom ba doom ba doom 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 ba doom ba doom da ba doom ba doom 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 ba doom ba da doom da ba doom ba da doom 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 ba doom ba. If I could only get me someone to say that, baby. When you Glenn, after you send her that way, will you also? I know is not like the norm of what's happening or what's out there, but it's also something that I feel really excited about, and that's I think a great fortune to have something that you're not only excited about, but that you feel really committed to moving forward with and to sharing with others. And that was really a great thing to have DRA and Denise Herlin, and Broadway Cares really give me the opportunity to do with this chance to create match the first installment on and with Linda and Glenn.
Welcome to the 22nd annual Fire Highland Dance Festival. Choreographer Abdul Latif's cool, urban, contemporary style is brought to life in the premiere of Match, the first installment. Hailed by the New York Times as two of America's most soulful dancers, please welcome Glenn Allen Sims and Linda Celeste Sims.